Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining us. If it's your first time, thank you for coming through. We
Mm-hmm.
appreciate all the listeners, new and old, man. My name is Matt, and I'm here with my two co-hosts.
What's up, y'all? It's Jermaine.
And it's Rod, and this is the Friends Podcast. Make sure you check us out. We're streaming everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our streaming services at the Friends Pod, YouTube, TikTok, and the Instagram. Check that out. Also, we got merch and all that on the way.
Yes, sir. It's on the way, man, for sure. But usually me, Rod, Jermaine, we chop it up about different topics that we want to talk about, for the week. But today we have a very special guest in the building,
Yeah,
man.
we do.
So go ahead and introduce yourself.
How y'all doing? My name is Benz 47. I am the creative director slash film director for 47 Films. The end is near. Everything you've seen behind this barcode comes straight out of my mind. All the designs, videos, everything. We have artists, producers, engineers, anything to do within the arts is basically what I am about. So that's basically who I am.
Super dope, man. Glad to have you in here, man. Kind of chop it up about everything, about you and stuff like that. Let's
Yes,
start,
sir.
all the way at the beginning. So you from Jacksonville, man.
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised for sure. Tell us about, Jacksonville. Like, tell us about the city, and because I'm from Michigan. We all three of us from Michigan and shit like that. But
Okay.
tell us about Jacksonville and your upbringing and what's the vibe like in the city today.
Yeah, because I mean, only thing I really heard from it was like Lil Duval. He be saying how hood and how people be acting. They really fuck with the
On the
teens out there.
outside
So
looking in, like on the outside looking in, we always get that reputation, but you gotta understand it's like any other city. Like there's gonna be bad areas and good areas. I think the DJ Academics, him highlighting what's going on in Chicago, what's going on in this. Like I think right now, the media and social medias are kind of wanting to gravitate towards negativity, and because they knows that's what gets views, that's what get likes, that's what gets engagement. But the reality is, I mean, in 2023 on June 10th, I mean, there's probably a lot of things going on, but it's not as public as it was. It's not as bad as it was either. I don't think even at the hottest, but you gotta understand, I'm not in those type of areas around those people 24/7. I don't live that life. I'm around it, but I have my own lane. Like I feel like if you are a videographer or someone that it's like like basically like what Kendrick said, a good kid, mad city type vibe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not my life. I'm never gonna act like it is. But I mean, there's good people out here. Our downtown has no life. I will be honest. We have
For real.
abandoned buildings. Yeah,
Mm.
there's like this one street called Bay Street, and that's basically where all most of the business is. The city just doesn't really care about the arts too much. You can tell. It's like if you want to do something in downtown Jacksonville, it's like either you're getting food, or you're getting drunk, or you're going to like a Jags game.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of local businesses, but it's not like a war zone. I'm gonna tell you all that now. It's not a war zone like a lot of people like to portray it. There's like the north side that's pretty sketchy, and then like the west side. But like you got like the south side, and other parts of Jacksonville that are just like everyday areas. It's not everywhere. It's just normal. Everywhere you go, you just need to be aware of where you are. I mean, it doesn't mean if it's Jacksonville, if it's Michigan. I mean, like everywhere, all the 50 states, you got to be careful. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure. I'm curious. Like, Florida's such an interesting state because you guys have so many big cities. And earlier you mentioned kind of traveling around like Tampa, Orlando, Miami. Obviously, we're talking about Jacksonville. Like, what's the difference between like the cultures in the different city, and like what do you feel like makes Jacksonville special or different?
I can tell you what makes it different. And I can tell you what makes it special. I mean, what makes it different compared to those other cities is they actually have life in the streets. They actually have people, either arguing, happy, sad. There's all those emotions. Here, it's just either like sadness because it's just mainly homeless people, and then you got like the locals, and then you got people that just work. You know what I mean? Where you go to Tampa, Orlando, Miami, they all have a nightlife, they have a daytime life, they have, it's just there's people from all parts of the world, in this one area. So I mean, where Jacksonville, I feel like it's always been more of a like a blue collar, You know what I mean? And then you got like the white collar people as well. But there's not like a social life out here, I would say. You know what I mean? In terms of the shows, in terms of the events we throw. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still have beautiful events, but it's just not on the same speed. I feel like Jacksonville is very
Mhm.
behind on a lot of the social, like the social, I don't know what you would call it, like the social events, and the trying to really put the energy into the people. Because I've always thought if we put more money into our arts, everything else will trickle down. Like you just need to give things to do other than to eat food and to drink. Like there needs to be
Mm.
something else. So
I mean, shit, that's all people want to do. Maybe that's all folks in Jacksonville want to do. So I don't know, but
it ain't though. You know what I mean? It really is. We have so many talented creatives here, and like we have one real like film studio. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
You don't
where
have any concert hall or anything like that?
no, we do. It's just not
Okay.
in terms of like the events though. It's not popping out here like it should be.
Yeah, probably not to the scale of like a Miami where you have events from all over the world coming in, kind of thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's similar to what we experience in Detroit. Like it's a city that gets forgotten about. Um, and you hear a lot of people going to other cities for like cool events instead of actually like bringing them here and doing them here.
Well, y'all, I see from my perspective, I feel like Detroit, y'all have started a whole new rap sound. My homie Tuski, if you know who
It's
that is.
not really new though here. Like,
Well, that's one,
but
but
it started popping though.
in Florida, you know what I mean? I didn't
Hmm.
start hearing it's like, you have like Lucky, Tuski, Booth, OG on Marco. You know what I'm saying? Like these all y'all have developed a certain Detroit sound that is like really popping off right now. So I mean, I think that's really cool for y'all.
no, Jacksonville got that song too. That younger age. Fulio been out for
Yeah,
a
No,
long
yeah.
time.
I want to ask him, what is the sound
Oh
for
yeah,
Jacksonville? Like, who are your artists out there that's
depends on who you
like
ask.
popping?
I mean, if you ask me, I'm not really like I love, the drill type music. But for me personally, I love like alternative rap and
Is there
like
Jacksonville drill? They got
yeah,
that
they
music
got
or
I mean Folio, Young and Ace, I mean that's our version of drill and that's like real life. Those are real people. Those are real areas. That's like all very real. I mean, I'm not saying like everything that is said has been done, but if you look at like the news articles, it's
yeah,
insane.
it's out there.
Yeah. So
No, but you know what I wanted to ask you though. So you know, like you said, Jacksonville is, I ain't gonna say behind, but like it's not all the way there creatively. But like I'm just trying to figure out like what sparked that for you, like to the point where it was like, damn, you know what? I want to start designing clothes at 13. I want to start filming. But like, where did that inkling even come from for you?
I think mainly for me is I grew up my whole life doing this, but not really like knowing this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I've always been into like different like things that are popular now, like anime, video games, like the skate vibe and all that. I got like bullied for growing up. If you watch Dragon Ball Z back in like 2010,
talk about it?
you you
Like,
get done for.
niggas went in.
Yeah.
They like there was nothing, but like I mean, I've always like, and a lot of my clothing does come from just how my brain operates. Like I just it's my only outlet. And same with the film. I mean, I got out of a really bad depression, just randomly started filming because I've always edited video game footage. I've done little stupid videos like wanting to be Jackass when I was a kid. And I've always had a camera in my hand. I even have like a mini DV footage from when I was probably like 7, 6 years old, just filming stuff. So I've always done it. I just never knew it was what I would do as a career. And I think the beautiful journey of like what I'm doing and accomplishing is like it's the reason I get up in the morning, it's the reason I go to sleep at night. Like without art I probably wouldn't be alive. I mean the end is near was based off me planning on my suicide. I used to put that on my social medias when I was 18 and 19 and it was selfish. Yeah, I like I was just in a different headspace. Like I wanted to be able to like this was my cry to help and nobody like y'all saw it but y'all didn't care, so when people, my brain works in different ways. You know what I mean? So I put
But
the
I want to take it back in just a second. We're gonna get to what you're saying. I didn't want to skate over the fact you said you were making jackass videos. So what were you doing?
So basically, as a kid, bro, I used to do. I mean, it was around the Odd Future era. I mean, it was before that
Yeah.
and Odd Future era. So I was probably like 10, 11. I used to do scooter videos. It was called Rip Shred. And before y'all try to YouTube, it's gone. Too late. So, but I used to do that, man. We would just do stupid tricks. We would go inside stores and be stupid. And then when Odd Future started coming out around like 2011, my 12, 13-year-old self, bro, put that on 100. Like just doing just ignorant shit, bro. I mean, I don't know how like old everybody is, but I'm 24, so like around like 2011, 12, it was just like a whole new like rebellious like fuck the government, fuck the police, like that's just how it was for me. Like Pro Era was popping at the time, so there was a lot of like 2000 to 2015 was just like I feel like a lot of creative shit came to me, like it sculpted me to make the clothes I am now because I've been heavily into like streetwear and all that like my
Were
whole
you
life.
influenced by like the Odd Future and Pro Air?
I mean, 47 came from Capital Steez, but he's the one who really shed that angel number for me. I've been following the number 47 since I was like 13, 14 years old. It has a lot of meaning with your fourth and seventh chakras being your heart and mind, living in an internal balance. So, I mean, I've always followed that. Now that that's mainly my only thing I've pulled from like that I applied today. But everything else is just like things I was into as a kid, or like designs I don't know, nostalgia, I should say. Just nostalgia is a big thing for when I'm creating art. Paranoia, fear, anxiety, depression. I put a lot of that in my art. So I mean, basically that's the basis of it. You know what I mean?
But you mentioned earlier that you have, a collective of creatives. So I feel like that's, one of the things that Our Future really got popping off, this idea of like, hey, we can have a whole crew of people who are creative in their own unique elements, and
Exactly.
we all kind of like feed off of each other.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always liked to consider us like a mixture of like Wu-Tang and Odd Future because when I was doing first, I've always wanted a team. Let me put that out there. Even from the day I started filming, I wanted to
Is
have
your team your boys like you grew up with, or
no.
you can?
That's
Okay,
no.
okay.
So I've always wanted to have a production team when I first was starting to do the music videos and things. But when you're trying to like, I bet when y'all try to start this podcast, you were trying to get people to believe in you and you didn't have nothing to show for it. So they're like, nah, I don't want to be a part of your little podcast. They didn't want to be a part of my little videos. And so it is what it is. Time goes on. I'm
That's
starting
how it is.
and I'm getting more of the artists I've worked with from music videos. I'm starting to build those closer relationships with them. So they're already representing the End Is Near before the End Is Near collective was even made. So after a while, I was like, nah, you know what? I have great people around me, a great support system. They make great art, whether that being, beats, the way they make vocals sound, the way they make a film look, or the way they make songs. I knew I had talent. I knew the people around me are like, it's here. You know what I mean? This is, it's here. So the biggest thing though for me about being in the collective is you have to be a good human being before a good artist. And I make that clear, like to everybody. Everybody has to be working. Everybody has to be selfless. You know what I mean? Like if you're not willing to help the next man to you, I don't want you. If you're not willing to, like, if your homie calls you at 3 in the fucking morning and he needs a ride home from the bars because he's scared to drive, I don't want you. That's the type of character it needs to be. It's like 100% or you can't be in it. Because I mean, we're on a 10-year plan here. You know what I mean? 5 to 10 year plan. Like I'm not expecting me to blow up tomorrow. I'm not expecting anything. I'm very much so trying to appreciate the present because I feel like we as human beings, we get so much caught up in our past and trying to plan out our future that
Right.
we don't appreciate now. And I found myself missing last year and missing 2 years ago and missing the feeling how it felt to shoot my first music video. And then, I'm here now. What does this feel like? I need to, just learn how to soak in, the very moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's go into your first music video. How did it make you feel? What was it? And that process of creating it.
So I had started off, before I get into that, I was just filming random stuff. And then my friend, I Hate Andy, was my first ever music video. He's also the reason I've met, you know how like you meet somebody and then you meet somebody and then you meet somebody. He was the seed of like my tree, basically. I met a creative through him, and that creative showed me like I have a full tree now, you know what I mean, with branches. And let me get on the question though. I'm ADD like crazy. I have to get back sometimes. So how did it feel? I was super nervous, but it was super fun. It's like I'm doing something new, and even though it was my first like music video, I felt like him. You know what I mean? I'm doing a music video right now.
You were a teen, right? At the
I
time,
was
I'm guessing.
20 years old.
Okay.
I was freshly 20.
Okay, and then kind of talk about like from that to now though, like because I didn't check that one out. I'm gonna check it out after the podcast. But like your editing style now is very like I can't even really explain it. Actually, first let me back up. Can you explain like your editing style, like what goes into putting it together, like all the different scenes and stuff like that? Like what's that spark from?
Okay, yeah. So basically, I'm very much so like I don't know how you would call it. Like how Rick Rubin, he doesn't really do anything, but he tells how he feels. And he like directs. You know what I mean? I do the same way when I storyboard my videos, even if it's run and gun. I kind of close my eyes, and sometimes I'll even able to, like, if the song really speaks to me, I'll be able to have the video playing in my head before we even shoot it. You know what I mean? That's just how it is for me. I don't know what you would call it, but I really base my videos off feeling. I also follow the sound. So if it's like and then I follow like the snares, the 808s, the claps. That's also how I sequence as well. But it just depends on the project. If it's a run and gun project, I approach it differently. If it's a storyboarded project, I approach it another way. So from then and now, it's just been a complete, 180, I should say, not 360, but a whole 180, because I've been learning angles, how to light things, how to, just do things more professionally. And you got to think, like, I'm not using no cinema. I don't have a full team like that. You know what I mean? Like, I film, I direct, I edit, and then I have editors on my End is Near editorial team, that I have 7 different editors from all over the world. I got editors in Pakistan, editors in Chicago. They all do specific effects. So I'll sequence, add my effects, direct the thing, film it, and if I want like CRT sauce, or if I want a certain look, I have my editors to just finish up the video, and then we send it off.
I feel like a lot of people, particularly like in our culture, they always want to be the rapper or the face of it, but they never want to get behind the cameras. You don't really see a big wave of that. Like, what would you say to those people? And like, how do you even get started? Like, what do you need, like, for a beginner?
I'll put it this way. I started off rapping. I originally made music. I've been making music from 15 to now, or even doing freestyles and stuff like that. But I just knew, especially me being Caucasian, like, there's a different level of like having to prove you're not corny and this and that. I feel like when people meet me and stuff, there's a different level of respect. That, and I make more of like a boom bap sound. But I knew that wasn't my lane. You know what I mean? I still do it, and I still love it. I love the music I made, but I'm not stressing trying to be a rapper. And what I've realized is, if you're still a creative, who knows? You might enjoy doing film the way because I still make music, but I enjoy this more. I'm not selling myself anymore. I'm selling all these artists I work with. It's not, oh, Benz, let me listen to his music. If I fuck with him, I fuck with him. Now, as a videographer, I have all these different people I've met and I work with, and if their fans like the video, they're gonna like my work, and then once they meet me, they're gonna like me even more. You know what I mean? So it's just like I feel like the and that's a big struggle for artists. You know what I mean? Because especially in 2023, where everybody wants to be some form of creative, whether that being for clout, money, or this and that, it's very hard to see who actually does art for art and who does it for everything else.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, my advice to people that are trying to figure out what you want to do, I'd say just try it out. I mean, especially if you're younger, if you're in high school and you can do like this now, if you can kind of figure out what you want to do, you'll save so much time. It's just I feel like in high school everybody is trying to be somebody that they're not. Everybody's trying to impress people, and I think that's just human nature as a adolescent and growing up. I had that problem. I had identity problems like that too, trying to fit in with people because it was always I was too white for the white kids and too other way around. You know what I mean? Like I was like too black, quote unquote, for the white kids, and then the other way around. So I was always weird in the middle, trying to figure out like but at the end of the day, I was cool with everybody. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. So I mean, just take advantage of time. You know what I mean? Just go out there, and if you feel something from it, if it gives you a sense of feeling, and that's what film was to me. That's what creating is to me. I was so empty, and now I'm whole because of art. You know what I mean? And that's all it is.
And I meant more when I was asking the question, I meant like, how do you get started in terms of equipment? Like technically, like what do you get? Like, do you get like some cameras? Do you start with your phone? What exactly do you need?
You can I mean, if you're just starting out, I mean, you can go get a VHS camcorder from your thrift shop for if you get lucky because they're hard to find nowadays. But you can get those for I mean, you can actually nah. I mean, you can film with anything. Long as you put the time in the shots and the angles and if it's their first video, they're going to have to learn regardless. Whatever you make is not supposed to look perfect. The fact that you're even getting up and trying something that you don't know, that's respectable in itself because there's a lot of people that don't do anything because they're scared. So if my advice to y'all, what you just need something that hits record. I mean, obviously you're gonna have to shoot at daytime or a very like lighted area at nighttime. But I mean, it's all a learning process. So I mean, just get out there and do it. I mean, you don't need any like specific equipment. You just need to have that willpower. And after the more as time goes on, I mean, everything else just follows in place. You know what I mean?
What I wanted to ask you is like how do you feel about comparisons or being compared to other people? Because what if somebody was like, oh, your style is just like Lone Wolf, or it's just like Cole Bennett, or somebody of that nature. Like, how you feel about that?
I mean, I don't really, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I feel like that's always going to be a comparison thing. But I mean, I try not to like really compare myself to anybody because I feel like once you kind of start doing that internally, that's when you start looking at their videos and saying, oh, well, I should be doing that or I should be doing this. I mean, I don't really. It's not like I get pissed at it. I mean, I don't really have a feeling towards it. You know what I mean? Like these next 3 videos I'm about to drop is on a whole different like. It's nothing like any of my work. You know what I mean? So
Hmm. Okay. No, I'm just wondering because a lot of people like they can get tore up about that shit. Where it's like, damn, like I'm trying to be me, but like I don't know. It's like
hmm
trying to be you. You're trying to do the right thing that's like applicable to everybody that everybody's gonna like, but you're still trying to do what's you. You know what I mean? Another thing that I wanted to ask you is like, did you used to watch like skate videos back in the day? Because I was getting those type of vibes when I was watching, like the enders near Tampa and Orlando and all that stuff. So is that something you used to check out?
yeah. So I mean, I grew up skateboarding. So I mean, I used to watch those type of videos like when they came out on the DVDs and stuff all the time. I love I mean, I've always been obsessed with VHS tapes as well. Even like growing up, like I've always, I don't know, just something about even as a child, I used to love turning the damn TV on and just hearing that like the little static and running your hand over it, or if you put your hair next to it, like it's just that and like the actual physical of a VHS tape itself with the cover art and then the actual tape and then you put it in like it's just seeing all the different things like a VHS did. I don't know. I used to be obsessed with that as a kid, and as I grew older, it just became even like cooler and cooler and cooler. So.
I feel like it's gonna come back eventually though. Like, things go in cycles. Like we might actually be watching VHS in like 2050. Like you never
For
know.
sure. It's like vinyl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my grandparents were heavy into collecting things, so I'm like a huge hoarder now. I collect like toys, I collect video games, I collect cameras, I collect vinyls, I collect streetwear stuff. Like it's it gets a little much, but I mean I just love stuff. I'm gonna be real. I'm very opposite of minimal. Like my girl hates how much because like my walls are just completely like I don't know if y'all can kind of see
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's insane, dude, and that's just like one little corner. So
You mentioned streetwear. I want to get into that a little bit. Talk about the End is Near brand, and so like I want to see like because I used to be like back when Diamond Supply was out and like Stussy was starting to bubble up a little bit more. Like
2013, 2015, stuff like that.
yeah, like even before that, like what was before that? Like Hood by Air, shit like that. But like I kind of want to see like what's the type of shit that influences you and what type of shit that you rock. Other than the End is Near.
I try not to get influenced, as weird as that sounds. But the influences are there. I'm not gonna deny that. I used to wear a lot of like FTP. I used to wear a lot of foul play, just like edgy graphics. You know what I mean? Just like I like T-shirts with like a Ku Klux Klan member like with a noose on his neck, or like a cop getting like flamed. I think it spurs from like early '90s like skatewear and stuff like that, like World Industries and stuff like that. But just like the edgier streetwear, I'm not like a design. I don't really like Yeezy. I don't like Fear of God. I don't like, like Babe and stuff like that. I like things that have like a political or, something that will make people like, damn, what is that? Or like, why is he wearing that? Like just
Making a
something that,
statement.
yeah, just like, I don't know how to explain it. Just something that makes people say like, what the fuck is on his shirt? And I think that's what I've always gone for, and it's just who I am as a person. You know what I mean? I just like to disrupt social norms.
Yeah, because I was looking at your store and it's like, yo, you got like, I like that newspaper shirt that you got. Like, that's super
Yeah.
dope. And I saw you had that on the video. You got glasses, you got hats, you got mugs, like all that type of shit. Like, what's some other shit that you feel like, oh, I'm gonna put this into the atmosphere? Like some other type of, merchandise that you wanna get into.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be completely like rebranding the End is Near. I feel like when I started out, it was kind of mainly important for me just to be able to create like the clothes and just kind of start having my first t-shirts out. And I had the denim. I started off on a denim collection, so want to start doing more like bolder prints and more colors and move into houseware. Like I basically for the End is Near, I have a vision to be everything. Houseware, like basically what Supreme does, but like on that same level, just anything could be the End is Near.
So like IKEA type shit, like you want couches, tables.
I actually have a concept for a table. Just by like putting like plastic arms and stuff, and then like have a head in the middle of the table, just some dystopia vibes. You know what
That's wild.
I
That's
mean?
wild shit. Okay. Um, so talking more about the music videos. So like when you how can I ask this? Like, do you choose the people that you work with, or do you try to work with certain types of artists, or is it kind of just like, hey, like let's work type shit?
So when I was starting out, it was like whatever work I can get. But now it's getting to the point where I need to have a belief in their music and they need to have belief in me as a director. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I deny everybody, but the bread, like the paper has to make sense if I don't really see a vision for the song. You know what I mean? I'm not like gonna like blackball somebody. You know what I mean? I'm not at that point. You know what I mean? I'm still on the rise, so I still talk to everybody. It just got to make sense on both ends. But if it's somebody that I truly like believe in, or somebody I could see doing something with it, and I could see they're serious about it, I will invest my time and a lot of that off the strength of love. You know what I mean?
And then so like, you talked about you working with, a lot of underground and you like the underground music anyway. You was talking about Lucky and all that type of shit. But like what if you did get a big opportunity from like a huge artist? Like, would you work with them, or do you feel like staying underground is like your vibe for the most part?
So I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like everybody that blows up is from the underground at some point. So I mean, I'm not limited to working with a big artist, and I'm not limited to not working with underground artists. I believe long as they have the consistency, they have the drive, and they have the quality of vocals, and they have every all those little those different boxes checked off. I don't care if they have millions of followers. I don't care if they have hundreds of followers. It's just about the character at the end of the day. That's just all I'm big on. I mean, I have love for what I do. So, I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, I'm not going to limit myself to one certain crowd. You know what I mean?
Oh, that makes sense. I wanted to talk about that 10-year plan, and I don't want to get into the plan because it's probably like, I don't know if it would be private or anything like that, but like talk about what goes into like that visioning of like 10 years. Like, what
Yeah.
type of shit goes into that?
So basically, my whole goal for the collective slash the brand slash the film is just being consistent and making those connections to people that actually are good people as well, and continuing to branch out. So I mean, obviously in the next 5 years I want to be known throughout all 50 states and stuff, and have different little sections for like an Indisneer creative headquarters or something like that. Obviously, want to double up on how much product we have, having the equipment to do everything in house, having a recording studio, being able to manage artists where we have somebody that actually knows how to fully do the deals and fully do this and fully do that. Like, I want to be able to bring good people into like the collective, you know what I mean? And just continuing to push their, what they want to do. If you're an artist, I want to be able to get to the point to have you making your own deals. I just want everything to be independent, you know what I mean? In house, they make their own money. I just don't want no sneaky shit. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of this industry is people backstabbing and just fucking over really good people. And I just, I don't think that's how it should be. And I kind of, my plan for that is to kind of rewrite the narrative of what the fashion, music, film industry should be about. And I think it's just like, I feel like good people get turned into bad people, and bad people can hopefully one day turn into good people. So I mean, I just want to really rewrite the narrative of how people treat each other, and how like everybody should be moving. You know what I mean? Everybody should be trying to help each other. Everybody should be trying to uplift one another, and everybody should be also be held accountable on how they work. I just feel like the internet can really show a lot of shit that ain't actually going on. You know what I mean? So it's just, I feel like that's how those people, like the people I have around me, just consistent work, good people, and I don't stand for nothing less. You know what I mean?
Let's get into the segment where we pull up some of your Twitter comments, and then you can talk about it just briefly. Jermaine, you had a few.
Yeah, I got a couple. So, a few things that I noticed that actually just came back to what you just mentioned about, making sure you have a presence in all 50 states. So, one of your tweets was, "One day my barcode going to be in 50 states." So, tell us a little bit more about that. What's the plan for that? What's that look like to you? I know you just touched on that a little bit with having, different headquarters in every city, but like, what's the start to making that happen? I know you mentioned like the 50 states tour earlier.
Yeah, so basically, I want to have my barcode in 50 states, meaning like I want to have a family. I want people to feel like when they buy my clothes, it's something more than just a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very limited on releases. I don't re-release things. So I just want that sense of rarity. And then also I want, to be across the United States. So anywhere you go, you see something. And like, I just want, because like the engineer was so negative, I just wanted to be positive now for other people. You know what I mean? Because where it originated from was a dark place. So, and I just wanted to be like hope for, young creatives. I wanted to be, because like, just something that people, when they see like, oh, that dude and those people are doing good things, and I'm glad to be a part of this. You know what I mean? That's what I really want it to be. And then just being able to one day just go on like a whole little 50 state journey. Like, I mean, I got inspired from Ass Pizza. He did his 50 state tour, and just seeing how the people interacted and seeing him, it was so for the Tampa, it was pouring down rain, and he still went to every single person and shook their hand. And that's the same energy I want to give people. So that inspired me as well to just want to actually one day be able to go out there and meet those people and actually
Wait, who did that?
Ass Pizza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you don't know his work, definitely check out his work. I got huge respect for that man just because of that trip alone. I didn't really know of his work. I mean, I knew of him and like the posts here and there, but actually seeing him in person and talking to him just gave me a whole different perspective about him. But yeah, just like I said, just having in his near people in 50 states and having our clothes everywhere and hopefully one
Mm-hmm.
day be able to have some type of creative in each state. That would be great.
Yeah. I have another question about before we get to the other tweets. So you've talked a little bit, a couple times about, like where the engineer came from. And you mentioned like how you kind of switched that connotation or are working on switching that. But like, I feel like because it started from such a personal place, like before you could make a brand out of it, like you personally had to probably change the meaning for yourself. Like what was that process look like?
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, what when it like basically what you said, when it originated, it was very dark. And as time has moved on, I kind of like people to come up with their own meaning. I mean, whatever, like when a lot of people, their first assumption is the end of the world. That's what they think it means. But I've also met people that think it means other things. And I think that's the beauty of the brand. Like, what is it the end of? It could be the end of a friendship, the end of the world, the end of drug habits, the end of anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the beauty of art and the beauty of my brand is because when you hear those words, whatever resonates in your head, that's what I want it to mean to you. I mean, I have my meaning and where it came from. But now from this point on, I've just let it just I want it to grow into itself. I'm not trying to force a certain type of thinking on anybody. I just want people see the clothes that, oh, he took this and he redesigned it and made it his version. And also I got some t-shirts that are coming out that are very like, it makes you think about like, political, religion, society, just anything in general. I kind of want to like lift the veil of just my thinking. What I mean, I just feel like there's like not a lot of brands out there that are like making you think. There's a lot of like money getter brands and motion
Mm-hmm.
brands, and this is my fourth clothing brand, believe it or not. What I mean, I've been trying to do a clothing brand like since a kid, but I think this one has worked because I'm not making clothes for other people. I'm making clothes for myself, and if people don't like what I make, I really don't care. Like, I know if that sounds like me being a dickhead, I just want to keep things authentic, and I don't want to design clothes for a certain demographic of people. Like, I have dudes that are in the streets that fuck with my shit. I got the punk kids that love my shit. I have, average Billy up the road that just, stays in and plays video games, thinks it's cool. I mean, I just don't have a certain demographic of people, and I don't ever want to have a certain demographic of people. If you love what I make, then good, wear it. It's for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Be proud.
And if you resonate with the meaning, like if the end is near means something to you, like you said, like however you interpret it.
Exactly. And I mean, I just, whatever. It is what it is. It's art. I want you to appreciate it. And I want, when people have my clothing, I want it to feel like art. I don't want it to feel like just another shirt you can buy online, because I want to do limited runs and then never re-release designs. If it's like a certain character I make, I will never re-release it. It might make cameos and other clothing, but nothing more than that.
That's what's up. So we'll do a couple more tweets here. So this is a retweet actually. So I think you mentioned that you're 23 now. So this must have been this is a little bit of an old tweet, but you said, or you retweeted, being a 22-year-old is the most painful thing someone can go through. So tell us a little bit about, kind of, it sounds like maybe some growing pains in the 22nd year.
I'm trying to think what I was even going through. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I had really, I mean, all my life until honestly this year, like I told you, I've been traveling a lot now. I'm going to all these different cities, but I have panic disorder. And just, I think during that time, because I remember from like 21 to late 22, no, late or early, late, it's either late 22 or early 23. I was just going through panic attacks every day, like month long panic attacks. Like I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to leave Jacksonville. I didn't like going certain songs, certain episode, like certain sounds, like TV couldn't be serious for me. It was just a really weird time for me. So I might have been around then. I mean, I don't really know. I might have just been, just being funny or something. But just, I mean, that time was just really just like mentally down bad. Just dealing with panic attacks. Because I don't know if y'all have ever had panic attacks, but I have like
I've
physical.
never had one. What is that?
Oh, dude. All right.
It's the
So
worst.
my panic attacks that I have, my chest sinks in. It feels like it's like a vacuum. My hands like lock up, like sweating, hands, feet, and dude, I'm gonna tell you, you dead ass feel like you're gonna die. You can't breathe.
Like you, like
It
you getting ready to go into a game or something. Like you get the butterflies, or you about to perform or
It's
something.
not like butterflies. It feels like a heart attack
That's like
almost.
excitement. I mean,
How you know
anxiety.
what a heart attack feel like?
It feels no, that
Because your heart, like
is
your
neck,
chest will
neck,
literally hurt.
it's like hurting, like you, like it feels like it's stabbing, like it's like, because I had my first major physical panic attack on the way home from North Carolina, and I dead ass thought I was dead. I thought I was it. I was looking at my girl. I was like, "Yo, we need to go to a hospital right now," because I was just driving normal, just. And then after that first panic attack, it set the tone for me traveling, me leaving. Because any moment I felt any type of discomfort internally, and anybody with anxiety, they're a little bit more, I would say, more self-aware of things that go inside their body than a normal person would be. Because like little feelings turn into big feelings. But all of my late 23 and early 24, I've coped with it. I've learned to deal with it. I sit in it, and I've kind of developed different mechanisms I can do to just make it go away. So, I mean, I'm traveling all the time now, and I finally have been released from my head because it just felt like it was fear for such a long time. And I just don't have that issue anymore. And ever since I lost the whole fear shit, learning how to combat anxiety 100% effectively, so many doors have opened up, and it just makes me so pissed because I missed so many opportunities just because I was scared to leave Jacksonville.
So what'd you do? Like,
So if I am feeling discomfort, all right, well, at first, bro, it was just because it was happening every day, and after a while, after probably a year and a half of dealing with that shit every day, you're like, oh, here we go. Like, it just becomes normal. And after a while, I've learned that if you just accept what the fuck is going on, if you accept the feeling and accept everything. And another weird thing I do is if I burp, I also burp. I don't know what it does, but it relieves like some type of like tension. That I play Kendrick Lamar albums as well, start to finish, because I've noticed if I'm singing
which one?
Good Kid, Mad City, Section 80. Those are my two favorite. And then To Pimp a Butterfly is probably my third favorite. But I'll play those from start to finish. And I've realized if I'm rapping, especially at his tempo, I don't have time to really fucking think about anxiety. I'm
Yeah.
really thinking about the next word. So that, and I think rapping as well does the breathing techniques without you focusing on like, because when you're rapping, you got to like know breath control. So you're doing it. I think that's another thing I've learned. But the biggest thing to all the people that are watching, if you're suffering from physical anxiety, you just got to understand that there's nothing you can do. I mean, there's nothing, no amount of thinking, no amount of reaction. Just accept what you're feeling and understand that this too shall pass. And after you learn that, you'll start to understand your anxiety. You'll start to understand that it's just all in your head. It really is. I know it feels like you're going to die. I know it feels like it's the end. But the more you learn to fight back your thoughts, the easier it becomes. So now when I feel things, I'm the one in the fucking driver's seat. It's not my fight or flight overcoming, because that's all anxiety and panic attacks is. It's something triggering your fight or flight mechanism. And if you have nothing to run from and you have nothing to fight, you're stuck there with adrenaline. So that's really all it is. So just learning how to learn your body, learn yourself, get outside more. I mean, I was sitting inside this exact room for almost 24 hours a day. The only time I would leave this room is if I had to go get food or if I had to shoot. Other than that, sitting in colored lighting with TVs in the background.
So this tweet is also a little bit of an older one. So I think you've kind of checked some of this off your list, but you tweeted, "I need to get out the city more. Being in the same spot really burning me out. Need some new scenery." I know we've talked a lot about like travel, hitting up different spots. So is there anywhere else, or like where would you say is next up on your list that you want to get to?
I have obviously bucket list spots. I mean, I really want to go to New York. I feel like I would resonate the most of who I am as a person, and my creative style would resonate in New York the most. And I think I would learn a lot of things from the people out there. And then also I want to go to LA and just, huh? Oh yeah, and we got Rolling Loud coming up. My homie Nate Day right here. I'm going to Nate Day because of him. Shout out to the gang. Got a whole project coming out. We got a whole video coming out. So, I mean, just working the stage is going to be, dude, I've never been to Rolling Loud, so working the stage is going to be crazy. But yeah, just get into New York and LA is kind of my next big thing, just because I've never been on a plane. So that's going to be huge for me. I'm probably going to have to like mentally prepare for that as well. And then after I get over the plane, I mean, I want to go to London. I want to go to Japan. I mean, these are places I want to see because, I mean, just going to Miami. I mean, shit, even going to Atlanta. I remember being on the top of that balcony. That was my first trip, and that's what broke the cycle for me. I remember being on top of that balcony. Was like, damn, I wasted all this time. I've been missing this.
Mm-hmm.
And it took my breath away just seeing an actual city and seeing an actual life and cars driving and the highways and all the the beautiful lights, like just seeing a real city. And I honestly owe everything to T4, Benny, and Hunter for actually pushing me to go because I was terrified of going, and I did it, and I honestly owe them everything. So yeah, man,
Shout out to them.
yeah, shout out to them, bro. They broke the anxiety cycle for me, and now I feel like I can do anything and go anywhere. And I feel like nothing.
So, can you talk a little bit about that Rolling Loud that's about to come up?
Yeah, so the homie Nate right here, he's on the set list.
Yeah, Sersky, 7th Rolling Loud since 2018.
Okay.
Unsigned, you dig?
All independent. So
what's his single? What's his hot song right now?
Sober Dover.
We should go check out.
Sober Dover just hit 1 million in under a year.
Sober Dover.
Okay.
Yeah, if y'all ain't heard that, y'all sleep. But
check that out.
I'm gonna wake up.
Yeah, his whole next project, man. I'm not even gonna tell y'all the album name, but it's definitely a work of art, and we got a video coming out soon for that. So I'm super
excited.
For sure. Okay. Well, we definitely appreciate you for dropping the gems about filmography, the stuff about anxiety and panic attacks, and try to deal with that and stuff like that. And of course, with the merchandise that you got, but tell the people like what you got coming up in the near future, other than Rolling Loud. You want to drop names of videos you about to drop, or like what's up for the near future with you?
I got 3 major videos coming out. I got one with Nate Day. I'm not gonna name drop the other 2 if I haven't already, just because I'm just gonna wait on it. It's gonna be like when they drop, y'all gonna know. I already did, I think, say something about it, but I got 3 videos coming out, and I got another End is Near movie coming out. So this will be my second film. This will be called The End is Near Origin, basically explaining everything that's happened from the start to now and everything in between. That's
kind of like a vlog.
What's gonna be like a documentary / vlog, because my goal for that is explaining everything pre End is Near Collective, because like some of the founding members, which is like Primo, T4, Benny Banks, Ronan, those, they've always been around, but we weren't officially End is Near yet. So I'm gonna have all that, and then like all the trips we do, and then music videos we do. So it's gonna most likely be a never ending project. But that is the next big movie I'm working on. I have another clothing collection coming out. I have a couple of different concepts, but I got to just figure out which one I want to pick. But I'm completely rebranding The End Is Near as a, like, just how it looks in terms of aesthetic. We're going to start doing bolder graphics and just having more color, because I've done mainly only black and white tees. Like this hoodie is just black and white. All the t-shirts have been black and white. Just trying to get some more color on there, because I think we're a little bit past, because when I first made those t-shirts, I was mainly just trying to do some, I didn't really have an understanding of everything, and now I do. So it's just time to add a little bit more, something different. You know what I mean? Not the same shit.
Yeah.
It's been probably a year and a half now that we've been putting clothes out. So it's just time for something new. And in terms of the videos, completely different Benz 47 coming. I swear to God, y'all gonna see these videos and be like, holy shit, he wasn't playing. So I'm super excited to show y'all everything, and I really appreciate y'all having me and taking the time.
I got one like side question before we wrap up here.
Of course.
So are you consistently like filming all the time, like documenting your life to come up with like a documentary usually? Like, is that
No,
what you're doing?
not me. I need to get better at it. I've been trying to get better at doing like TikTok shit and stuff like that. I thought
Like behind the scenes stuff or
I
whatever?
have a behind the scenes director that he films everything I do and everything we do. He's out of town right now. So, but just trying to get everything right now. I mean, I be filming, I'm doing his documentary right now. I'm handling his whole documentary project. But right now, I don't have somebody that's like consistently filming me, other than at shoots and stuff like that, or like events.
Like the process?
Yeah, but when he gets back
everything,
in town, he's already like we're doing work, because when he gets back, we're going to be at a whole different speed. By the time he gets back. So I told him I need 24/7. If we're going to eat, if we're going here,
That'd be dope.
there, because he has put me on a lot of like ideas in terms of how a documentary should be filmed and stuff like that. So I'm just going to try to apply that as well, to my own End Is Near film. So there's just a lot of big things coming, and I just hope I'm able to help people along the way and inspire others on the way, and as well as grow as a film director / creative director.
Well, this has been a great podcast right here. We got Ben 47, and we out.
We out. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you.
Peace out.
Yes, sir.